Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. And on this episode, we're going to break down Wednesday's NBA Cup quarterfinal games, look at potential streamers for both today and tomorrow, and then wrap things up with add or pass to help you guys with your waiver wire decisions. And let's get into some of the news here, Doc. We got an update on old Victor Wembanyama. I hate this update. I gambled a little bit and put him into a lineup just because of Wemby. And he's been ruled out for tonight's game. I should have been smarter about that too. And I'm just going to get through this news, and I'm not even going to talk about that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort available for tonight's Cup game. Devin Booker, questionable. I'm going to swing back to that in a second. We'll just quickly note that Derek Lively is undergoing season-ending foot surgery. So Doc, you can comment on any of this stuff, but quickly, I'm just going to say I watched the Devin Booker film for in pregame, I guess, shoot around. They were on the court. I don't think he's going to go. Like, he looked pretty rigid out there. Maybe he's just keeping it all cool and saving it all for tonight's game, but doesn't seem so smart. Anyway, Doc, how you doing? Did any of that news tickle your fancy?
I'm just trying to figure out what Dallas is going to do at center because Gafford's unreliable and banged up. He's not playing. Or he didn't play on Saturday. I don't know when he's going to play again. And then now Lively's out for the year. And we've seen Dwight Powell before, and that's not pretty. So is there any, do you know anything about Musa Sissy? You know anything about that guy?
My God. That is just an amazing butchering of that gentleman's name.
Cisse.
Yeah, well, and then I see in our chat, as we practice enunciation daily here at the Fantasy NBA Today show, Andre is telling me it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Did I butcher Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's name? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. I didn't. I don't know what I said. Perfect. Thank you, Andre. Stop putting weird things in the chat. But that enunciation, Doc, was not good. And I'm just kind of doing something right now that I'm not going to tell folks until I'm done doing it. And I'll get back to you guys here in a second. I'll answer your question as soon as that's done. Hello, new listeners. Welcome to Sports Ethos. And normally a lot more serious.
Oh, no, you're not. Oh, you.
The hell I am.
Oh, my God. No.
No. This is not happening on air.
Come on.
I thought about this.
Oh, my God. Dude, I need him.
Guys, you're going to have to put up with this, and we will be done in a quick second here. The things are happening. Oh, I'm in the wrong league. Oh, my God. All right, Doc, you win.
I'm not there yet.
Okay, then I win. We're racing right now to add the same player in 30 deep. I thought about this last night, and my advantage here is that I can spell his last name.
Come on.
And now the website's just not cooperating. We're having a little moment here on the show, and it's okay. I think we can allow for this, but the fact that you're sitting here talking about him just makes me think that I don't have a shot at keeping him as soon as I dole out the statement that I'm about to say.
Dude, I don't know if I did this correctly or not, but I made a transaction. I just don't know if I got. Oh, yeah, he's on my team.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Musa Cisse is probably the last center standing in Dallas. I regretfully inform you, as Steve, Dr. A. Alexander was quicker to the waiver wire. That's what happens when you run a show. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about a 30-team league, and if anybody's got a pulse, you got to go get them fast. And I was about to tell you, folks, that Musa Cisse is probably going to be a factor at some point in Dallas. It's not likely to be in the next couple of weeks here. Maybe we wasted 5 minutes of your life. Who knows? But the reality is Anthony Davis is a big candidate to be traded, and he is the only center standing, really. I don't think Daniel Gafford counts as a center that's standing. I mean, he can barely stand. He needs like a month off, it feels like, and then he can kind of come back and basically possibly be an early round value for however long he can stand after that. And to that end, I think Gafford's probably a must-hold player. no matter what. You're not going to find a situation better than you can play whatever you can handle. And by the way, you're pretty good when you're on the floor. So that's cool. And Cisse is just an athletic big that's not really kind of cut out for the league at this point in time. Like he will, maybe through repetitions and getting some, easy buckets be a factor in fantasy leagues at some point. In a 30-team league where 10 minutes per game plays, you race to the wire in the middle of a show to try to get Moussa Cisse. All right, Doc, or Sissy, as Doc likes to call him. I'm going to tell him Cisse. You said that. I'm going to tell him you said that.
Yeah, I think the reality is that the other guy, Dwight Powell, is probably going to be the more lucrative short term.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you just hit pay dirt, and I think the other 28 GMs are sleeping. That's what you need, some help here, guys. My team's stacked. I've got like a 5-game lead on second place out of all 30 teams. I don't need your Moussa Cisse. I've got a fully stacked.
Well, you're like, I'm going to tell you about that here in a second after I do this. And I was like, oh man, Bruce making.
I should have just deadpanned it and just moved on.
Screw somebody over. Who? What's he? And I was like, oh God, it's me. It's me. It's us.
Welcome everybody.
I'm glad I asked that question.
Welcome, new listeners. I swear we're way more on point than this. But if you're new to Sports Ethos, head on over to sportsethos.com, and you might know about the next Moussa Cisse if you're in a 30-team lead. And check out memberships, B150 projections. These are the projections that I spend 400 hours on, no joke, in the preseason to make sure that we understand exactly what's going on with each player. And then throughout the season, meticulously updating them is what we do. And then we put them in all the tools that you guys need to win your fantasy leagues. And then the articles are above and beyond what you can find on social media or here at YouTube. Believe it or not, the written word is actually still pretty powerful. Doc, let's get your top 4 streamers for NBA Cup action tonight on Wednesday.
I'm going to go with Royce O'Neal. Pick your poison with Royce O'Neal, man. Friday, he had 0 points in 19 minutes. And was a complete dud and bust. And then Monday, he turns around with 11 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 3 3-pointers. I don't know which Royce O'Neal is going to show up to this one. If Devin Booker is out, I think the odds are in O'Neal's favor for him to have another good game. And even if Booker plays, I still think O'Neal is generally good to go. Like that Friday dud was an outlier, and it doesn't happen very often. So I do like Royce O'Neal.
You say it doesn't happen very often, and it really doesn't. But that is something you got to kind of know about Royce O'Neal is it will, for a couple games at a time, when he's in a full-time starting role and everything's going well for Royce O'Neal, he'll drop. He'll have a 0-pointer. But he's a top 80 to 90 guy on the season, doing just fine. You got guys that are banged up. Royce O'Neal is part of the equation there. We got more on these games later as well. So I'll just kind of spin us into my next streamer of the night. I'm going to go with Alex Caruso. And this feels really gambly. Like I just think that in a cup game, and especially after Phoenix played them tight, and there's a player by the name of Colin Gillespie that they're probably pretty worried about. I'm not even kidding when I say that, by the way, in Oklahoma City. And one way to deal with that is either Caruso or Dort. You could just Dort him up or Caruso him up, I guess. So this team's a little hard to predict in terms of streamers when they're at full strength. And if it's Caruso, then I guess congrats. I'm trying to dig deep for you guys there. Doc, who's your next streamer?
Interesting. You're going Alex Caruso as he's coming back from a 4-game absence to a loaded and fully healthy OKC team.
I know it's the weirdest, dumbest thing I've ever said, which is the bar is high there. The bar is high there, but yes, that's where I'm going.
Okay. All right. I was just checking. I'm going to mention Jordan Goodwin again. He's yet to really pop. He's coming off the bench. He's helping play some point guard in Phoenix. He's kind of overshadowed by Gillespie and the return of Grayson Allen, I think. But, Goodwin over his last 3 games, I believe, is December numbers, 3 games, about 10 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, a steal, and almost 2 triples. And he's yet to have that pop game. So maybe that is coming tonight. I don't know. If what's his face is playing, I don't want to mess with Goodwin. And by what's his face?
Is it Devin Booker?
It is Devin Booker. All I could think of as I was trying to come up with his name was Dylan Brooks.
That's literally what happened before the show.
Thank you for doing that to me.
I'm contagious, everybody.
Worm in my brain.
I'll go with Harry B as our fourth streamer of the night. You know, we're kind of picking Burrito Brothers over here. It feels like every other game, and why not? Wemby's not in the game, so you get this this bounty of streamer action here. I'm going to go with Harry B because I think they need leadership in what will be more of a playoff environment. I think teams are now kind of gunning for the cup a little bit, and why not? Like if you could get your 12th man, was it a $500,000 paycheck? I think you do that. Like it's just, you got to do that. So I think teams are a little bit more into it, and therefore with the playoff refereeing, I want to see if the playoff refereeing kicks in. I didn't get a chance to really watch closely last night. I want to watch these games a little bit more closely here tonight, probably because some of my favorite players are in there. But Barnes is my burrito brother of the night. Doc, if you have any honorable mentions, feel free to throw them in. And if you would like a bet on the Burrito Brothers, I'm definitely taking bets.
No, I was going to tell you that I agree with you. I'm on the same Burrito Brother this evening. I think this is fixing to be a Harry Barnes type of evening. So I like that call. And then I was able to pick up Rui Hachimura in a super deep league. I think it's a 20-man league where I had no one playing tonight, not one guy playing. And Rui Hachimura is sitting there. He's playing tonight. Rui, over his last 3 games, he's been in double figures, averaging around 14 points, 5 boards, and 2.7 triples. So if I get 14, 5, and 3 out of Rui Hachimura when I was going to get nothing, I am quite good with that. And then, oh man, it's so interesting that you went with Dort. I'm going to talk about that more later.
Cool. I feel like Hachimura is like the poor man's version of Harrison Barnes. And I would roll Hachimura from the Lakers out there ahead of anybody else. Also, I would roll Gabe Vincent out there ahead of anybody else. It feels like, and I don't know if Marcus Smart is playing, but he could be a candidate as well. They're going to go with the veterans. They're going to try to treat this as a little warm up for the playoffs. I'm not as much on Los Angeles gunning for this thing. Like, I don't think Luka, does this even enter his brain space? Like, sometimes I wonder if Luka is just kind of going to the beat of his own drum all the time. So I'm not as excited for the Lakers to come in and try to tear things up in this game. So, but the veterans, I think, will get called to action, and Gabe Vincent being one of them. Check Marcus Smart's status as well before the game. All right, we have a little extra bandwidth here. Let's look ahead to Thursday, and so we can get ahead on some of this stuff. Doc, who would you like as your first streamer from Thursday?
Well, I don't think you were here when we were doing our streamers draft when I'd made my first pick, and I was like, Bruce going to be mad at me because I'm taking his guy Jordan Walsh, and I've yet to jump on the Jordan Walsh bandwagon. So I'm a newcomer in these parts. But, you know, his last 3 games, he had 22 and 7 on Thursday, 17, and a full stat line on Friday. Sunday, he had 9.6 boards, but he also had 3 assists, hit a 3. He's just kind of been playing well for Boston. Boston's been on a winning streak while he's been inserted and getting these minutes. So I kind of feel like Jordan Walsh is a good play tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, some of those numbers, it doesn't feel like they pop in head-to-head leagues, but he gets you a lot of cash counting stats, steals, blocks, and threes, and that does pop. That actually contributes to winning in head-to-head leagues. The percentages are pristine for him, very low volume stuff, so it's not moving the needle too much, but it's not hurting you, which people tend to forget about. That is the fact that percentages do hurt you. To get these stats, you got to do something to get them, and if you're not efficient with that, it hurts. Jordan Walsh has been great. I will get a little bit, I was going to say jiggy with it, and then I completely said, no, don't say that on air. And then I just said what was ever going on in my mind, and here we are. Tim Hardaway Jr. on the road in Sacramento. Sacramento is just a target for players like Tim Hardaway Jr. If I'm talking to Kings fans, they're like nodding in agreement. Yep, Tim Hardaway Jr. Usually it's somebody further down the roster even that's going to go off in Sacramento and probably like make the home crowd boo like very loudly and create some sort of a dramatic trauma cycle for the fans in Sacramento. Tim Hardaway Jr. Everybody. Doc, who's your next streamer for Thursday night?
I'm going to go with Bobby Portis, maybe against my better judgment, but man, he's due for a big game, and he just has not been able to put it all together. Saturday, he hit 2 of 11 shots, which ruined a night when he had 7 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal, and a 3. So everything was great that night except for the shooting. And then Friday and the other nights, he's been shooting it okay and scoring more points, but there's no defensive numbers in there. So I'm hoping that tonight he can finally pop and put it all together.
I think he can. I mean, at least there's activity in the box score for Bobby Portis, and the efficiencies have been crap, and I think that's not getting any better anytime soon. But as long as he's active, and I think in a rivalry game against Boston, he's probably going to chirp up a bit, and that's probably going to be the story for the rest of the season. I wonder what Bobby Portis had to say when Giannis had his talk with teammates in the locker room, which I'm actually kind of cool with. I think Giannis taking the issue head on. I don't know how he delivered his message. It would basically be something like, hey, you climbed the mountain to where I got. And if you climb the mountain to where I got, and you would want to call your shot too on the next 2 to 3 years of your career. So sorry, guys, it is what it is. We're going to all go through this a little bit together, but let's make the best of it while we're here. Bobby Portis.
I mean, Kyle Kuzma has shown a pulse the last 2 games too. So I think Kuzma and Portis are going to be in a lot of DFS lineups tomorrow and probably pickups as well.
It'd be interesting to see if Kyle Kuzma could do something. I mean, he is a piece that they need to move, or it would be in their best interest to see if they can find a taker. And if they can get some numbers going in the next 2 to 3 weeks, there's rationale for this. It's just Kyle's got to step up and actually produce. I will honorable mention Robert Williams on the road against New Orleans. If he's healthy and playing, he's been getting you defensive stats and theoretically can reach up to the stars and grab one every once in a while. Jose Alvarado at home against Portland just seems kind of like right on the nose. Still no Jordan Poole, and maybe we'll get an update there that would shake things up a little bit, but he's just kind of cooking right now, and so I like that as a streamer. Guys, if you're checking out all these players and considering an ad, you're racing somebody to the wire, you're racing your friend to the wire to pick up somebody in a 30-team league, stop what you're doing, hit the thumbs up on the video, then make your ad. Now do it the opposite way. What you watching for, Doc? We got 2 games. I think we'll probably talk about both of them, is my guess. Let's say Suns and OKC. What in this game are you trying to watch for?
I do have things to watch for, Brew. I want to let people know that right after this show, I'm doing Q&A with Dr. A. So send your questions to Andre on Twitter, put them in the chat, whatever, and let's do that and have some fun right after the show. As far as the OKC Suns game, it's the Suns at OKC. It's minus 14.5 for OKC at minus 114. The money line is plus 700 for the Suns. Yeah. OKC is going to wax the Suns, and they're going to run them out of the gym. And there's nothing Colin Gillespie is going to be able to do to stop it. The fact that they're getting Caruso back from a 4-game absence, they're getting Dort back from a 2 or 3 game absence. Dort's missed the last 3. I'm a Jalen Williams guy. I have the not superstar Jalen Williams, the Jaylin. That Jalen Williams, I've got him in a couple leagues where I need him to produce. I don't really trust anyone who is not a superstar in New Orleans when they've got every single player at their disposal. Like, them coming back is bad news for AJ Mitchell. AJ Mitchell being there is bad news for Caruso. Did I say New Orleans?
Yeah, you said New Orleans, but it's okay.
Why?
I like New Orleans. It's a great city.
Lord,
They have a lot of fun.
OKC.
I got neighbors from New Orleans. They're fun people too.
Well, yeah. Okay. OKC. OKC is going to run them out of the building. And I like them. I like the minus 14.5 on OKC. In fact, I'm probably going to do something with
Do you
that
know where that all went wrong for you, Steve? It was when you mentioned Colin Gillespie was not going to be a factor.
And nothing he can do to stop.
Nothing he can do
OKC.
to stop. Okay, so let's go
and
rewind the clock.
Drew, those lines are courtesy of FanDuel. Those are over at FanDuel. Get over there to
There's
FanDuel.
no amount of slinging product that's going to save you from your take.
Make a bet. Set a FanDuel line.
I'm betting the Suns plus 14.5. Look, there's some things here I don't like. Aside from the fact that Oklahoma City is a death machine, that I think they've still only lost one game. The Suns almost won in Oklahoma City last time. You know who almost beat them? Colin Gillespie. Yes, I bleeped myself.
Colin freaking Gillespie.
Colin mother Gillespie. How he actually hurt himself was he stole the ball. I think it was from Shea late. He poked the ball away on a steal and then chased it into the scorer's table. If he had gotten that somehow, he would have, I think, put them within at least a bucket or maybe even a go-ahead bucket to steal a game in Oklahoma City. Like that would have been the ultimate Colin Gillespie moment. And that makes me think that they're not surprised by Colin Gillespie. You know, maybe some other folks are, but not Oklahoma City. And I think they will have a plan for Colin Gillespie to rough him up more or less. And I think this game's going to get physical. I think Dylan Brooks is going to do his thing. I think it's going to be great theater. But it is a little concerning that Oklahoma City might have a chip on their shoulder because they win games by 30 with no chips on any shoulders. And they got that entire roster to boast about. And you could talk about them all day for sure. And your point about the streaming angles is well taken. Like that's why I'm picking Alex Caruso as the streamer, is because something weird is going to happen with this group. I don't think AJ Mitchell and, you know, the typical Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, who usually step up and get all sorts of opportunity for this squad. It's kind of, I'm thinking an Alex Caruso night, but I could easily end up with a 0-point line and nothing else with it. Taking Alex Caruso, but you know, so you got to pick something, right? And I'm going to pick him. As far as the Suns and Gillespie and everything that's going on there, their entire box score against the Thunder last game was great. Every player that, you know, all of your guys that are typically in fantasy lineups, they all did well. And it's weird because the Thunder wreck box scores almost every game. Like you could take any team and put them up against the Thunder and you go look at that box score. It looks like half the players took the night off because they just got shut down. And so it's an interesting little dichotomy. I mean, is Phoenix that good? I mean, I think they're 13-9 right now, that they can withstand the force that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Colin Gillespie getting big minutes, big production against basically anybody right now. I don't know how folks would have him as an injury replacement kind of a guy, but that is something of a vibe out there. So if you think maybe somebody's thinking sell high on Colin Gillespie right now, be right there to help him out. Doc, if you have anything else to add on this game, feel free. But let's get into the Spurs and the Lakers. If not, they are +7. The Spurs are Lakers -7 over at FanDuel. Lakers, probably if you take that Spurs line, it's -106, and you take the Lakers -7, it's -114. Oh, that money line bet in the last game is kind of interesting as well. I don't think it's going to hit. I'd take the points, but very interesting numbers there. Doc, let's get your general overview of the Spurs at Lakers. What are you watching for there?
Well, can LeBron James keep it going? We finally got a look at what looked to be LeBron James his last time out. So it hopefully he can do it again and give these people that have LeBron James in their fantasy lineups some hope that, you know, training camp's over and now LeBron's getting ready to start the season here on Christmas and he's going to be good to go the rest of the way. And then on the Spurs side of things, is Devin Vassell officially becoming a burrito bro, because Vassell had 5 points in a recent game. Vassell's looked awesome in recent games, but Steph Castle's back. Victor Wembanyama is going to be back in a minute. And what does that mean for Devin Vassell? Is he going to be one of those guys that gets loose once a week, like the Harry Barnes and like the Keldon Johnsons and the Julian Champagnes?
I do think he's going to become a burrito brother, and I do think folks can drop, like, kind of preemptively wait until he has a big line possibly in this one and see if you could trade him. But I do think he's going to become a burrito brother, and that's going to be unfortunate for his fantasy stock. And then I don't have strong feelings about this game, kind of one way or another. The LeBron stuff, you hit it. If he can have another big night, that's going to be great for my personal squads, because I got about 3 or 4 LeBron James where, hoping for the top 50 value and all that. But I think overall San Antonio will be kind of where I'm focusing my eye and trying to figure out, like, what does this look like when they're playing serious basketball as the season progresses. De'Aaron Fox is a guy that's either going to be given the ball and told to go, and he will be a second or a third round De'Aaron Fox, or, you'll get some inconsistency because there are a lot of good players there. The Dylan Harper's, oh my God, Derek Harper, please get out of my brain. He had a really big night the other night, and he looks really good at basketball. And same with Stephon Castle. They got a lot of talent. So I just want to see when it starts to get important, does De'Aaron Fox get given the ball and everybody else sort of steps back because they know he's been paid and he's the man and he's in control of all these different things and whatnot. So anyway, that's what I'm watching for tonight. Let's get to add or pass, because we got to cover some ground here on some pretty cool names, starting with one Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones, we talked about him kind of for a bit here. And my last thought on him was, I hope this time off for this injury was the thing he needed to be explosive and be the guy. Right now, he is in the last 2 weeks, he's the number 6 ranked player in 8-cat on one game. He had one really good game. Are you adding Herbert Jones, or are you passing on Herbert Jones?
No, man, it was one game. I was just looking at that. I was like, wait,
I was trying to pump him up, and that's all you give him.
He's number 6 overall over the last 2 weeks. Like, how is that possible? And then I see, he had one game. Hell, I could go play one game, bro, and possibly be like top 150. two steals and I'm in.
I would pay so much money to see that.
No, you wouldn't. It would.
I would pay. I would drop at least a couple grand.
I'm passing on Herb Jones.
I have another comment. I'll hold it for another show. It's Najee Marshall time. Let's talk Najee Marshall, number 57 over the last 2 weeks. So we're getting that kind of top 75 Najee Marshall that I'm always railing about. We're getting it right now, but what do you think about the future, Doc? Does Najee Marshall pass the test for you, add or pass?
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future in New Orleans. I'm in the right town this time, I believe. Najee Marshall has been pretty good, man. He's getting tons of run. He's getting tons of minutes. He's number 57 with 6 games played. So that means he's been doing it consistently. Wait, what's going on? Oh my God.
No, you're in the wrong town again.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
But in fairness, Najee Marshall is kind of that guy. Like, dude, he just goes from town to town, and he's a top 75 talent. And you're like, hey,
I think I have brain damage.
He's doing it again.
Najee Marshall's in Dallas.
Najee Marshall remade himself as a number 1 scorer.
Oh my God.
And so he's been a fascinating fantasy asset for the last 2 seasons.
Herb Jones is in New Orleans, bro.
I know. But this is what you get for fading Colin Gillespie, and this is what you get for fading Herbert Jones, which I didn't even throw my take in there. Yeah, I'm adding Herbert Jones. I think here's the reason why. All the beat writers in New Orleans, or whatever city you want to say he's from, in New Orleans are like, oh, he's back. And that, I don't know what's wrong with it. I mean, he's been an injury-prone guy, and he's got that snap on his fastball, and that's the thing that we need for Herbert Jones. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's got top 50 upside in 9-cat leagues as he's had in the past, and I will say that the top 75 in 9-cat leagues, maybe top 90 in 8-cat leagues, that's in play, I think, for Herbert Jones. That's why I'm going to make the ad there. But yeah, Najee Marshall, Dallas, they need something of a scorer, right? Like they can't just subsist off of 80, Cooper Flag. The list starts to get thin after that. Like Ryan Nembhard, good story, good scorer, passer, but somebody's got to be, a wing scoring the basketball for Dallas. So what you think? You're going to take the plunge or are you going to pass?
No, I've had Najee on my team all year. That's why it's killing me that I just said New Orleans. But the Daniel Gafford being out, the whole center situation being completely train wrecked, the Anthony Davis trade limbo, all of that makes me just want to keep rolling with Najee Marshall. He's one of my favorite players to play in FanDuel. And I just feel like he's one of their more reliable scorers because Nembhard, Brandon Williams, D'Angelo Russell, PJ Washington, Cooper Flag, they've all kind of been all over the place. But Najee's been consistent.
Let's talk about Jordan Walsh. I know we've talked to him as a stream and all of that, but would you add him as a regular old ad rest of season? Jordan Walsh, number 59 over the last 2 weeks. What you think?
I feel like all the talk has moved on from Josh Minot over to Jordan Walsh suddenly, right?
It has, yeah.
I haven't added either one of them. I haven't really looked into it. These good teams, these guys coming in. Like I'm comfortable streaming Jordan Walsh. I don't know that I have players on most of my teams that I would feel comfortable dropping to pick Jordan Walsh up for like a permanent move. But I mean, he's certainly played well enough over the last 3 games that he deserves consideration.
I know what you mean because I'm re-ranking the Bruski 150 to release next week during the NBA Cup finals thereabouts. I think it's Tuesday, and I'm ranking these players, and I'm down in the like 130s and the 140s, and I'm like seeing players, and I'm like, man, they should be in the 75s, they should be in the 85s. It just feels like there's a lot of players, and when we look at numbers like this, when we break them down into 2 and 3 and 4 week segments, and you see, well, Jordan Walsh is a top 60 guy. Well, where do you slot him in? Well, you have to check out the B150 to find out. But like, I guess that's a long way of saying there's just a lot of good basketball players out. You will have to drop a good player on your team in a 12-team standard format to pick up a Jordan Walsh. And if you're in a head-to-head league and you're just looking at the points and the rebounds and the assists, and then maybe they're not there on an every night basis, and you're like, I don't know about that. That's not going to win me a league. Well, you got to look at the steals and the blocks and the threes. And I'll say this about Jordan Walsh. I don't think he's going anywhere this season. I think he's earned his spot for the rest of the season. I think that they're going to expand his role as the season goes on. Now, Joe Mazzulla is a pretty big wild card in this equation. He is absolutely capable of hanging a hard right at any point in time. I just don't see the rationale at this point. And I feel like the rationale has been being made clear in Boston. When the announcers start talking about stuff, that means that like that's been talked about in meetings, and that's been talked about, and depending on the team involved, sometimes the pipeline from GM to team is a little tight. I don't know if that's the case in Boston, but they like him in Boston, Jordan Walsh. I would add, even in a head-to-head league. In a roto, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, add Jordan Walsh. In a head-to-head, I would probably add him as well. What do you think about Time Lord, Doc? He's next up on our list. He's a number 60 play over the last 4 games on an average basis, so he's missing some time. But would you pick up Robert Williams, even, let's say the format allows you a little bit of ability to do some stuff, to add and drop players like him? Would you pick him up right now?
The only reason I'm thinking about doing it is Klingon has missed a couple games with his leg injury. If Klingon's out, then I do kind of want to roll with Robert Williams. If Klingon is playing, I don't want to mess with Williams because he misses too many games of his own. And you never know when he's going to play. So I'm kind of out on Robert Williams, but if they tell me Klingon's not going to play for 2 weeks, I would pick him up.
I think this is a good data point for folks to just remember. Like, if you start to sense Donovan Klingon's having some injuries, there's players like Robert Williams that if you need 4 games, like if you're planning as a Portland Trailblazer head honcho coach, you name it, and you're like, okay, well, this guy's out. Well, I'll get Robert Williams in there for 5 games and know that I'm going to get 5 solid games, and then he can recover, for the next 3 weeks, and we'll do it again the next time that Donovan Clingan gets hurt. So I would not add in a long-term capacity Robert Williams. I think there's too much there, and we all know what the there is. So I will pass on the long-term ad. Ryan Nembhard, number 62, over a 6-game sample in 8 cat leagues. What say you, Doc?
Well, let's see here. I'm just checking to see if he's been updated over there. Oh, I don't see. Nembhard's been really good, man, and I feel like he is locked in for the rest of the season. I'm not too worried about him. I know that he's got I like Nembhard, dude. I'm adding Nembhard, Brew. I'm gonna leave it at that before I say something stupid.
No, well, I don't think it would be stupid. This is a safe place. Anything can be said. Look at me, Ryan Nembhard. I think he's got, like you said, the 26 minutes that he needs to have what I believe would be in an 8-cat league or 9-cat league to be league pass. Don't you do that right now? He will. I think he'll be a top 100 play the rest of the season. You know, maybe if he drops down to 24 minutes, we'll start seeing some of those lines. They get a little icky, you know, like 175, 200, kind of low level lines. Maybe teams figure out what he's doing on the floor if he keeps playing a lot and well. I don't know that that's even a true statement, because who game plans for Ryan Nembhard? I mean, it really doesn't happen at the NBA level too much. But let's say Dallas starts playing well and Ryan Nembhard starts making some headlines, then yeah, they'll probably figure out, hey, this guy's going to dart here. You know, we need to cut off this lane here and start to take away some of what appears to be just gimme stuff. He takes what the defense gives him. He's quick enough to do that, and he kind of gets himself into some easy action. And I think that's why you've seen the points and assist totals be so high. I'm going to add Ryan Nembhard pretty much anywhere I'm not, loaded with guards, which is actually quite a few places. But Nembhard, I do like his rest of season outlook, and I think we're going to see more and more from him as a player as he goes on in the league. Last one on our list here, Jalen Wells. What do you think, old Jalen Wells? Top 75 over the last 6 games. What say you, Doc?
Never been a big Jalen guy, but he's really playing well. Like he's been cooking since basically Thanksgiving. Double figures in 7 straight games. The points are up. He doesn't do a ton of rebounding and assisting and blocking and stealing, which is where the fall off comes from. But I mean, if you're just looking for a guy who's going to go out and play 25 to 30 minutes a night, score you between 15 and 20 points, and then put up some residual numbers on top of that, I think you could do much worse. Like, I bet you Jalen Wells is sitting on waiver wires that he should not be sitting on.
Yeah, I like Jalen Wells a lot as a player. I can't wait till he figures out some of the in-between game. Like right now, he's shooting and straight line driving, and even that's a little bit of an adventure for him. But if he develops a floater, or just can simply take more contact and finish through a little bit more action there, I think he could be really, really good, because there's a great body of work there for defense that you've already seen on film. I think he'll get a little bit better with that the next couple of years as well. So love him as a player. I just don't like the fantasy game. I think he disappears too easy, too often. You got this guy named Ja Morant that's going to show up at some point. So I'm a pass here. Now, one last thing in this segment here, Doc. I don't know if you got show notes or if we could drop them in the show notes. I'm pretty sure you got this. It's a long list. That's why I want to make sure you can eyeball it. But there's a bunch of names of players we've been recommending over the last couple of weeks that are very low rostered or under rostered. I'll put it to you that way. And I want to know who your top 3 are. So I'm going to rattle this list off, and it's a bunch of guys who get tons of questions on all the time. And so maybe we'll knock a couple of these questions out. By the way, send us your questions.
This is tough, by the way. It's tough to narrow this down to 3.
Yeah, this is a tough list. So if you want to ask us questions, you can send it to Dr. A at DOCKTORA. You send them to myself at Aaron Bruski, AARONBRUSKI. You can send them to at Ethos Fantasy NBA. And you can follow all 3 of those accounts, and you can do all of the various social media things. But this is a tough list. It's let's get it going. Let's go. Noah Clowney, Kyle Filipowski, Jalen Tyson, Quentin Grimes, Namish Keita, Sadiq Bey, Jay Huff, and Nikhil Alexander-Walker. So you get to pick 3 of these guys, and then you rank those 3. Let's just go blended 8 and 9 cat. So
yeah,
try to keep it simple.
Well, the guys I'm thinking about are Clowney, Filipowski, Jalen Tyson, Sadiq Bey, J Huff, and NAW. So that's 6 guys.
You narrowed down. You took 1 name out, I think. 2 names, maybe.
No, I took more than that out.
All right.
2. I took 2 out. You're right.
Agree to
so we
disagree.
got it down from 8 to 6. And then I look at are any of these guys must have players in my small mind. And I think J Huff and Nikhil Alexander-Walker both fit that bill right now. And then it comes down to Tyson, Filipowski, Clowney, and Sadiq Bey to come up with the 3rd guy. So I'm going to go J Huff, NAW, and I'm going to go with the upside of Noah Clowney.
Man, this is a tough list. This is a tough list. So it's hard right now to say that Nikhil Alexander-Walker is going to just go away. Like I've kind of, what I'm talking about is when Trae Young returns, of course. And dare I say that Nikhil Alexander-Walker has shades of his cousin, like right now on the basketball floor. Like I'm watching him play and I'm going, that looks a little like Shea. And physically, one of the reasons I was so high on Nikhil Alexander-Walker in the free agency market is just defensively, he's such a menace. And yeah, he does a few things here and there that I don't like, but like overall, he just gets it done. And then on the offensive side, he's actually toying with people a little bit. He used to rely on raw athleticism, and he's actually toying with people a little bit. So it's like, okay, you got a 2-way player who's pretty damn good on both sides of the ball. You're just going to go away when the 1-way player, it shows back up. And all the connotations surrounding that's going to be spicy. I don't know who the reporter was, but I saw a report from a newsbreaker who said that Atlanta likes what they have with Trae right now. Of course, they're going to say that before the trade deadline, but maybe they're just already know that there's not a market and that they're just going to be rolling with this team. Anyway, I think the floor for Naw is 100, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I think the floor for him is 100. So that means could possibly be top 75. And in this list, and with his talent, the possibility that one guy goes down, or hell, they trade Jalen Johnson for Giannis. Oh, that's funny. I think Alexander-Walker here could be a top 75 guy. So I got to have him in my list. I got to have him in my list. And it doesn't feel right because a couple of these guys, might be better than him. But let's go ahead and also add Quentin Grimes. You kicked him out. I brought him back in. I think he's just going to be a top 75 guy the rest of the way. I think he's just going to slowly plug away at that level, and it's going to be great. At the end of the season, his end of season rank will probably be in the 60s. I forget what I had him in the B150, but it'll be a big win for us, and we'll love that. And then the 3rd is so hard to pick. You could go with low and slow Neemish Keita. I don't think Bay's in this list. He's out. You could go with favorite son Jalen Tyson. And then there's Kyle Filipowski. I'm not going to go with Clowney because I think he's kind of capped even in a really good scenario, and it might be better in head-to-head leagues. It might be, he might have some noisy good numbers. I don't want to diss Noah Clowney, but I'm gonna kick him out. And it's like Kyle Filipowski. The upside, could Kyle Filipowski win more championships for me as he did last season? I might be a little bit biased because of all of that. I'm gonna go Jalen Tyson here for my 3rd player, because J Huff, while he is exciting as all hell, J Huff could be an early round player. His knee could fall apart, and he could also be a 0 if that knee stuff starts popping up. I don't want to go too overboard with that, but I think J Huff has a mid-round expectation, and I think Jalen Tyson's just going to cruise top 80 the rest of the season, and maybe even get better as guys fall to the wayside as Cleveland's season comes tumbling down. Doc, you want to tell me to shut up?
No.
Anything you would like to add to that?
No, I'm good, bro.
Good.
That's a good list. Most of those guys should be on rosters in most leagues, and it's very interesting to do these shows with you, and you being such a roto focused guy, and me being such a head to head guy. I mean, it's it's cool because you're getting two different perspectives.
Beautiful stuff. Also, make sure you get your questions in for Q&A with Dr. A after this show. And if you enjoyed this episode, the best way to keep this content coming is super simple. If you're listening on a pod feed, take 60 seconds, drop us a 5-star review. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you never miss an episode. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Doc. Our fantasy basketball content team, Mike Passador, Keston Paul, Mark Camaro, Tim Woodson, William Harris, Pedro Oliveira. Pedro, you can punch me in the back room. Yoel Abulaf, John Mosales, Paul Williamson, Anthony Cates, and our tech team. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.